Welcome to another edition of Boxing Confidential Radio, the interview sessions. This morning we're very happy to have one of the great boxers of our time, Shane Mosley, joining us. As you fight fans know, January 24th out there at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California, Shane's going to be locking horns with what could be arguably the best welterweight in the world, Antonio Margarito. How's it going, Shane?
I'm doing great. I'm getting big back, training hard, and just getting ready for the fight.
Now, look, man, I'm a straight shooter, Shane, so I'm not going to sit here and paint things a different way than I would paint in my writings or in my regular radio show. You're 37 years old. You're going up against a strong fighter in Antonio Margarito. We all saw what he did to Miguel Cotto, who's a guy you had a real tough battle with. Why Antonio Margarito right now at the end of your career? Why are you going up against maybe the toughest, strongest welterweight in the world?
Well, for one, I don't feel this is the end of my career. I think that I'm going to be in the boxing career for a while. You know, people always want to try to end your career for you before you're ready to end it. And you know, I'm 37 years old. Margarito might be like 32 years old or something like that. He's in his 30s as well. So he's no spring chicken as well. But Margarito, you know, he's considered to be the best fighter out there, and I want to prove to the fans that I am the best. And even, you know, that before 10 years ago, this era right now, I'm the best welterweight out there, and I want to prove that. After I take on Margarito and I take care of business with him, now I go ahead and go after Cotto. The one that I know that I won, but that didn't get the decision, so we'll do that. We'll do it again so people can understand that I am the best welterweight.
You know, it's real interesting that you mentioned that, you know, people might be trying to retire you or end your career before you're ready to do it.
Yeah.
Do you think it's just a new era in boxing where you could be 37, 40 years old or be a guy like Bernard Hopkins well into his 40s and keep boxing? Do you think it's just times have changed, or what's changed about the boxing game where some of the quote-unquote old-timers like yourself or the veterans can keep boxing? Is it because you guys have a name and the people recognize you, or is it that your bodies are different at this point in the world? There's better training methods. You know, what do you think it is? Why are these guys still fighting?
Well, you know, I think for one, you know, guys fought until it was 45, 47, like Shirley Robinson, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman. The list goes on and on. And they just kind of made you old at 30-something years old. Your body starts changing at that age, but that doesn't mean that you're old. It just means you have to train a little differently, and there's different strategies and stuff. I think that the mentality, you know, boxing is a mental game anyway. It has nothing to do with, you know, your speed and power. Well, it does, but it really doesn't. It's really mental. You know, how much you believe in yourself. Margarito's not fast, not strong. He really hit that hard. He's just a guy that has a lot of heart, and you know, he's in a big wheel, and he just keeps coming until he breaks your wheel. He's a classic old-time fighter. That's how they used to beat a lot of guys back in the old days, is with their will and their heart. Nowadays, we have a lot of technique, skill, and moving around and speed and all that other stuff. But I think that with this fight, you know, we both have big hearts and all that stuff, but it's going to come down to who's the fastest and who's the strongest.
So you feel that you're stronger than Antonio Margarito?
Yeah. Physically, I'm stronger than him. I'm not sure about hitting power. Well, even hitting power, too. He doesn't really knock people out one shot. He has to accumulate. He throws a lot of shots, a lot of punches, and then he'll knock you out by his will. And he takes great shots, so you can't really knock him out. So you have to keep pounding, and it's just a battle of nutrition when it comes to fight with Margarito.
Let me ask you this. I know boxers don't have fear in their mind. They don't have fear in the vocabulary. But I know a lot of fans that look at that fight between Margarito and Cotto and see the punishment that Margarito took, and he just broke, you know, Cotto's will, and they look at a fight with you, Shane, and they're worried. I've heard people tell me, I'm worried that Shane, you know, might get hurt in this fight. I mean, I know that doesn't cross your mind, but what would you tell to these people that are saying, you know, Shane has the high possibility of getting hurt badly against Margarito?
That just makes the victory that much better for me. That's all. I don't even think about that. I mean, that because he can't hurt me. I'm in the ring. When I work with guys, I work with guys a lot bigger than Margarito.
Okay.
You know, the guys I work with, like right now, like the guys was not even under 180. Now they're just now getting to 170. So I mean, the guys and they throw punches hard, and they're not just throwing baby taps at it when we're sparring, but we're going at it. So well, Margarito, he's going to be my size. And anybody my size, they're not stronger than me. And I know that for a fact. So, I mean, we can do a strength test of who's the strongest any day of the week, and he won't come close to being as strong as me. So, but that has strength and hitting power has nothing to do. It doesn't really equate. Like me and Oscar hit about the same, but I'm physically a lot stronger than Oscar. But we hit about the same. Margarito, he's not a one-punch knockout. He has pretty decent power, but he doesn't have one-punch knockout power.
Let me
So,
ask you this, Shane, real quick. You mentioned Oscar, and you know, one of the people in our chat room right now is asking you this question. Were you
okay.
sad to see Oscar take the beating he did against Manny Pacquiao? Oscar's a guy. You two guys are going to be linked forever due to your two fights. The classic first fight at Staples Center. It was really the battle of Los Angeles County, as I like to look at it. Was it sad
Right.
to see Oscar go out that way, if indeed he's retiring?
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's retired or not, but it was, like I said, it was sad to see that he couldn't do the things he wanted to do in the ring because he, for one reason, didn't prepare himself the right way when he entered the ring. When he entered the ring, he had no firepower. He had nothing because he was, anybody that enters the ring 2 pounds heavier than they did rehydrates themselves 2 pounds, from the weigh-in, unless you're way out of your weight class. That's not good. Oscar weighing in 145 and comes to 147. That something's wrong.
Now, as a fighter, you're a veteran fighter as well, Shane. Do you put that on the fighter? If you're coming in and your body's not right, do you put that on the fighter at this point in his career? He's a veteran, or do you really look back at that training or his team? Who would you put the finger, point the finger at?
Well, there's a combination of two. I mean, Oscar's the type that he listens to everything that everybody that his staff is telling him, and he's going to listen to a T. I mean, he's very good with that. Maybe sometimes a fighter, can't use their own common sense, about different things because it's okay. Well, the trainer is the professional in this area. I'm a professional in the fighting area. The manager does what he has to do. The promoter does what everybody has their job to do something. So
So it
maybe
should go down to the trainer in the end, or the nutritionist, or whoever was in charge of the diet.
whoever's in charge of the diet, whoever's in charge of the way he's training, the trainer and nutritionist, they both need to get together and, they have to watch Oscar and see, how he's looking, how he's feeling, what's going on. They have the dotted I's across the T's to know exactly what's going on. I mean, Oscar, when he goes in there and he trains, he gives 100% all every time out. He trains hard. He listens very well. He tries to do everything that the trainer and everybody's telling him to do. So he's 100%. He's 100% when he goes into that fight as far as him preparing himself. The other thing, something else broke down in that fight where, it didn't happen for him. He didn't have anything. He didn't have no firepower. He couldn't throw any punches like he wanted to. He couldn't do nothing. He comes in at 147. Usually a guy weighing 147 used to, Joshua Clark came in at 170 after he weighed in at 147. I used to come in about 155, 56 at least,
Yeah.
And then at 554, and I came in at 160, 160. And you see how high Mariota came in,
Yeah.
170. So, for 2 pounds for somebody that big and that tall, that just doesn't happen. Something had to be wrong.
We have Shane Mosley with us here on Boxing Confidential Radio. As you all know, Shane will be fighting Antonio Margarito January 24th at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. Tickets are still available. The fight will be televised by HBO. Talking about a fighter's team and the people around him as he prepares for a fight, Shane, one of the individuals in our chat room here is asking you this. A gentleman by the name of T-Money from Texas is saying, what's the difference? What's the difference in the pressure you face when you're training with your dad, Jack Mosley, and how is the pressure different when you're fighting under another trainer? As you know, most of your career you've been, you've worked with your dad. You've also worked with Joe Goosen. You've worked with can't remember the dude's name, man. He's a Hall of Fame fighter. I'm blanking out this morning.
John David
John
Jackson.
David Jackson. Thank you. I just blanked out. What's the difference? What's the pressure like for